Welcome to X1 Validator Headquarters. I built this site for the validator community running validators on our blockchain, the X1 blockchain. The goal is simple: to make running and managing X1 validators easier, more efficient, and more accessible. X1 Validator HQ provides a clean, easy-to-use web interface that reduces the need for constant Linux command line work, a powerful real-time dashboard that surfaces the most important validator and network data, and a growing set of tools designed to streamline day-to-day validator operations. This is our homepage, and it starts here with the X1 Network tab. This page shows you real-time data of the network, and across the top you'll find data such as our current validator count and total stake, the total supply and current epoch, the slot and transactions per second, our Nakamoto coefficient, and the active validators versus delinquent validators. Here you'll find an epoch status bar showing you the current status of the epoch we're in and the time remaining. And in the center here, a map showing validators spread across the globe. You can scroll to zoom. On the right is a list of validators by country. As you can see, X1 is quickly becoming one of the most decentralized blockchains, and it's impressive how quickly X1 has become a global network. Here along the bottom are the validators that's sitting in the current leader slot, the slot it's in, the block it's on, and the next leaders in line. The next tab is the Validator Lookup. Here on the Validator Lookup screen, you'll see a search bar in the center. Here you can put in any voter ID address or by name to search for any validator on the blockchain. For example, if you were looking up mine, you could type in Shaka. My 5 validators would populate. You've got a details button if you'd like to see the details of that validator. And you'll have an add button here, which adds each validator to the My Data Center section of the website. As you can see here, my 5 validators have already been added to my data center. The next tab you'll see is My Data Center. When you click into your My Data Center, it will load it with any validators that you've added to the data center. As you can see here, I have 5 validators added, which are my 5 validators, Shaka Vibes 1 through 5. You can add any validator you like to your data center. It doesn't need to be one of your own. At the top, this gives you a total stake, rewards from your last epoch, the average performance, and how many of your validators are active as a consolidation number. The combined stake details takes the stakes from each of your addresses and shows you the total self-stake, delegated stake, and the average APY. Gives you an estimated annual combined earnings from your self-stake as well as the commission from the delegation. A quick graphic here shows you the portion of self-stake to delegated stake. Your combined earnings trend will graph for you your XNT earned per epoch completed on each of your validators. You'll see them listed at the bottom along with their graphs. Does the same for epoch credits. Below that is each individual validator card. You'll see the name of the validator. You'll see if it's earned a badge. Badges are issued to top 10%, 20%, and 30% stakers. Shaka Vibes 1 is currently number 39 out of 1,540. Has a validator ID, and it shows you which version of software you're currently running. If, for example, you're running a later software, such as V2.18, this would be yellow and give you a notice that a new version is available. You have a Manage the Validator button, which we'll get back to in a minute. This tells you if your validator is active or delinquent, and this allows you to remove a validator from your data center. You can see the rewards balance that's sitting in the validator, how much it earned on the last epoch, and how that compared to the epoch before. Your active stake with a click to manage, which we'll come back to. Your epoch credits, commission rate, skip rate, and performance score. Back to the active stake. If you click Tier Manage, this will pull up any stakes that are found for your validator. You would want to select any stakes that are yours, that are self-staked, leaving the delegated stakes unchecked. Doing so helps compute totals later on in the site. Stake details specific for this validator. This is from that last page where you managed it. It knows how much of it's self-staked versus delegated. What your APY is. And again, an estimated 7-day average on self-stake and the commission on your delegated stake, and what your total for the year would be. You can also see the earnings trend for just your specific validator and the epoch credits for your specific validator. And on the performance score, I'll do another video deep diving into how this number is derived. But quickly, you can see we score based on 7 categories: vote efficiency, skip rate, consistency, commission rate, longevity, software, and reliability. Each of these are weighted, and your score is generated at the top. If your score happens to fall into a yellow area or below, you can ask Claude to help optimize your validator. Just click this and it'll pre-populate a prompt for Claude, and Claude will then take you through the steps to optimize your validator. The Manage Validator button, probably the most important button on this page. Here at the top, you'll see the name of the validator you're in, a spot to connect your wallet, which we'll do now. I use the backpack wallet. This section here shows you all the accounts that are attached to this validator. Your vote account, any open stakes, if you have any stakes that are activating or deactivating, and any inactive stakes. The section below shows you the account details of whatever account you have selected. We're on vote account, so you can see the balance, the ID balance, what address has authority to vote, what address has authority to withdraw, the commission, and the epoch credits. You also down below get actions that are available to the account. So from here we can create and delegate a stake, we can send XNT to the ID wallet, we can update its identity, we can withdraw XNT, change our commission rate, and change the authorities. If we were on a different account, say this stake, we'd get different options, such as create and delegate a stake, send XNT to the wallet. Delegate a stake, it's grayed out because it's already active. But we have undelegate a stake. Split the stake, merge stakes. You can't withdraw from a stake that's active, and you can't close a stake that's active. So if you wanted to withdraw a stake, you could undelegate your stake, and this would become available. You could set the stake authority and set the withdrawal authority. Coming down, you'll notice some stake and withdrawal badges are red and some are green. This tells you if the current wallet has stake and withdrawal authority on that account. Let's create a stake. So you can create a stake from literally any account. You press the Create the Stake button. It's going to check your wallet balance. It's going to set the stake and withdrawal authority to the wallet that is connected. And here you just put in the amount you would like to stake. We currently have 55 XNT in the wallet. So say we wanted to stake 15.5 XNT. We would put that in here, press the Create and Delegate Stake button. It prompts us for our password in our wallet. We hit the approval. Just like that, we've created a stake. Success. Very quick, very easy. Usually takes about 10 or 15 seconds to populate on the chain to the website. So if we hit a refresh, there it is already. Stake for 15.5 XNT that's now in the activating status that has stake and withdrawal authority. If we wanted to stake or change the stake or withdrawal authority, we'd do it through these commands here. You could then set it to whatever wallet you wish. Other functions, such as split a stake, does just that. It could take one of your stakes and split off some XNT into a separate stake for you. Why would you want to do that? Well, maybe you have a large stake that you do not want to fully undelegate. So you split the stake, take some of the XNT off into its own stake, and then just undelegate the smaller stake. Merge stakes. It'll automatically populate stakes that are available to merge. Not all stakes are available. You have to have the same stake authority, the same withdrawal authority. The connected wallet must be the stake authority, and stakes must be in compatible status. So this will tell you which ones are eligible. So very simply, if we wanted to, for example, merge these two stakes, we'd select them. The first account that you select becomes the destination stake, so it will merge J87 into EI3. Simply click Merge Stakes. Again, your wallet will come up. I can hit the approval, and just like that, those two stakes are merged. Merge complete. I'll probably do another video going into details of every single button, but some of these are pretty self-explanatory. Such as inactive. We can close that account if we want. We can change the authorities. There's lots of options. I just suggest that you play around in there and see what's available to you. The next section is Leaderboards. Here on the Leaderboards tab, we start with top performance. This shows you the validators ranked by 7-day performance score. The most stake leaderboard simply shows you the validators with the highest total stake, which as we know at the current time are the X1 Lab nodes. Lowest commission is simply that, the validators with the lowest commission on chain. The most efficient validators. These are validators earning the most credits relative to their stake. So typically smaller stake validators that are earning a high level of credits per stake. Most reliable. These are validators with the lowest skip rate and best uptime. And our newest validators. Essentially not a leaderboard, but it is a nice list to see which validators have started in this current epoch, as well as the last epoch. The next tab, Compare. The Validator Comparison tool is a tool you've probably used to seeing on many purchasing sites. For example, comparing 4 different televisions side by side and looking at its specs. This is very similar. It allows you to compare up to 4 validators side by side. You add them by using the search bar. Let's add one of mine. And maybe one of the X1 nodes. Let's grab node 5. We could add maybe Zen Artists. And let's grab Zen Pubs, validator number 1. As you can see, it populates the data on a number of different key metrics. It allows you to look side-by-side comparisons to see some differences, point out some things you may want to change. Everything from performance score to total stake, status and the version of the software they're running, their APY estimates and their stake rank, all the way down to their location. Just a nice little handy tool. Now to the Calculators tab. Here on the Calculators screen, you'll see 4 built-in calculators, the first starting with staking rewards. Here, you can select one of the validators from your data center, and you can make some assumptions. What if we were to add 2,000 XNT to our stake? The right-hand side It'll tell you how many self-stake tokens you have and delegated tokens, and what your 7-day average has been for APY. Below, it gives you a projected after adding the stake. So by adding 2,000 more XNT to your stake, you can assume to make 151.74 additional XNT a year, or 12.64 XNT per month. You could even make a delegation assumption. What if 100,000 more tokens were delegated to your validator? Well, that would earn you an additional 63.22 XNT from that delegation with your 10% commission. On the year, an additional 758.68 XNT. Compound growth. Just like the staking calculator, pick the validator of your choice and choose your compounding frequency. Say you plan on compounding your rewards weekly and over a 2-year period. This will show you an effective validator APY of 18.51%, and doing the compounding weekly, you could expect to earn an additional 1,093 XNT. Say you were to stretch that over 10 years, obviously you'd see your curve steepen, and you would earn an additional 49,675 XNT based upon your current 7-day average. Unstaking timeline. This tells you when your funds would be available after unstaking. If you were to unstake right now, you would initiate the unstake here at epoch 108. The deactivation period would be through epoch 109, and your funds would be available on epoch 110, which is approximately 1.8 days away. You can use this drop down to change the date. And the last calculator, the break-even analysis. Again, pick your validator. Here, input the operating cost. So say you're renting a server, and call it $200 a month. We're going to assume the price of XNT at $1. And based on those operating costs, we're currently in a profit. We're earning 7.21 XNT a day, which gets us an additional 16.37 XNT in monthly profit. The price of XNT could fall to 91 cents and would still be at break even. Now say our operating costs were $300 a month for that server. Well, at that point, we'd be operating at a loss. It'd be costing us 83.63 XNT a month. We would need XNT to reach a price of $1.36 in order to break even. And that's the calculators. That pretty much wraps up the tour of X1 Validator Headquarters and gives you a high-level look at how the site works and what it's designed to help with. I'll continue adding features and refining things over time, but this should give you a solid foundation for what's available today. Please note that this site is provided as is and used at your own risk. While it's built to be helpful and reliable, you are ultimately responsible for your own validator operations on the blockchain. This project is fully open source, and all the code is publicly available on my GitHub for anyone to review, audit, learn from, or build on. Links to both this site and my GitHub are included in the description for easy access. X1 Validator HQ is a constant work in progress. Features will continue to evolve, improvements will be made, and bugs may surface along the way. If you run into any issues, notice something that doesn't look right, or have ideas for improvement, please DM me on Telegram. Feedback from the validator community is what helps drive us forward.